I still have to discover the secret of the adult conspiracy, but I'm sure I'll get it one day. Araknie here has finished investigating and is presenting you with Companions of Xanth. A review, if you can believe it. Let's beeline to it. No, honey? What are you doing? This torture I've been subjecting you is the level of dialogue you can expect from this title. Puns, wordplay, and general confusion await you in the land of Xanth, because that's how it operates. Can't do nothing about this word unless you get rid of magic from it. Anyway, you're Doug. Written Doug, not dog. Yeah, your parents hated you, that much is clear. And you're in front of the computer while rain is massive outside. You've got this for studying? You don't like video games? You tried many, but none impressed you. While going around your house organizing a mighty sandwich, you discover your girlfriend left you. Ouch! Maybe she found out that I use computers only for school and she likes games? What a fuck up! Well, it's certainly not a fuck down. You need to be in bed to be able to perform that one. Or lying somewhere comfortable. I don't obligate you to use a bed if you don't wanna. A friend of yours convinces you to try another game and sends it to you. And so, you discover a game that talks back, and that is Companions of Xanth. You have to choose between 4 characters, and you need to win the game to get the prize. The rules are that you can be told how to succeed or what you need to do. Just that you'll have a rival and that she, in this case, is going to try to get it too. Good luck, dumbass! And wow, reading back what I wrote, it comes off really horny. But it's this game's fault, I swear. At least the first half of what I played. It's incredibly front-loaded with hormone levels that can be beat without going into the adult-only category. Now everything I write and say sounds like smut to me. Great. Just what I really did not want. Fortunately, it lets up on the second half, because if it kept ramping up, this review would not exist. It was going into real icky territory. With your protagonist being a minor, and with so much unavoidable dialogue being about how you are excited seeing every adult woman you meet in real uncomfortable ways. I don't even dislike romance in video games, it's mostly poorly done, but that's another matter. As long as they are both well over 20 years old and in love in the game, that's all well and good. The difference is that we get real close to an unfortunate incident here. At least you get a game over every time you try to force this 16-year-old to take action on adult women. That's the only thing that salvages this from being a total disaster. Without punishment, it would have felt like the devs approved of those situations. Yes, you can die in this game, and because of those moments of dialogue, I'm glad you can. It really needed something truly drastic like this that puts a stop to your silly ideas, so if you didn't save in a while, you might even lose a good hour or 2 of progress. But after a while, the tune changes, fortunately, in Companions of Xanth. You get to change your friend after 2/3 of it if you want to, since you've been forced to hang with a very sexy one, of course. But even before that, after that certain very risk event in a dungeon, where you need to save nada and it's all really awkward, the developers understood they needed to rein it in. It really would solve it for me if every character was at least 21, seriously. And what I found is that this is based from a book that is even more horny than this. This is the toned down version? And the original book is considered a young adult novel? I don't understand. Wait, I remember the host from Stephanie Meyer. Okay, fair enough. It's just not my style. This word is so weird, I swear. You can't make this up. Wasn't Twilight about 170 years old vampire dating a 17 years old girl or something? I think a repressed memory unlocked. Shit. Then you find that this game has bestiality too. Love springs are something else, man. Those descriptions. There's also an nymph with a urine fetish in this shit. Fortunately, it is all written in the game within a game manual. You don't get to see this. Again, this is the toned down version. And that's me without mentioning the books of Xanth by the author Piers Anthony or his depiction of pedophilia in Firefly. Yeah. I'm being charitable by accounting only the game for this review, and it still has plenty enough on its own, unfortunately. Then you discovered that Legend Entertainment had a big history of making even more porn-adjacent adventure games, and that explains everything really. And that's a pity because most of what's left ranges from good to excellent. Before getting to the good things, I've got another dialogue-related complaint. While we're getting into the tutorial of Xanth, remember we're playing a game within a game, a sassy little man will explain the rules to you. He will repeat a few times that every single interaction and puzzle revolves around puns in Xanth. But that's not true, so that got me really confused. I didn't know when to resolve something with wit, or by taking it seriously. It is inconsistent. I don't know why they kept that long dialogue and really tried to hammer it in so much, when in reality that will happen about half and half of the times. But yeah, let's talk about the everything else now, including the voice acting quality. The fact alone that they got a child to voice an actual child is impressive. They've even got a cat to voice a cat, can you believe it? So yeah, they went to great lengths to make sure you had a good time with the dialogue. Because aside from the horny stuff involving our underage 16 years old boy, there's a lot of funny moments. Even serious moments, but well done and well acted either way. And even horny moments but between adults. Look at that, you can make it while not causing every good person to feel terrible while playing this. Also, you probably wanna know what I think about the puzzle design. I hinted at it earlier by mentioning that they are not consistent with their own concept. That makes exploring around all the more confusing, since you don't really know when to take the dialogue seriously and when not. Sometimes that's clearly done on purpose, since they give you a way to gloss over most of them in a helpful but cheap way. Knowing this, the eponymous companion will try to give you hints more than a few times if you talk to them. Sometimes they will straight up give you the solution, and I found that weird. This game could have lasted me a good 30 hours, but I was just a little over 10 because so many things are introduced and then solved so quickly. Yeah, they have a big world, but instead of putting more items or inventory management, they just decided to give you one thing per puzzle. Then you use it because you examine it and get it from the description, or try it on a few things until it works. Or you die. I guess it's fair. I shouldn't have thrown a cherry bomb at my feet. Yeah, most deaths make sense. The game sometimes even tells you to not act in a certain way, and later down the line, when you, and if you do it, you're gonna pay the consequences. Can't fault the game if you're not paying attention. But yeah, it's easy and too much so for me. Only in the first area I felt like I was having an actual adventure, otherwise nah, I really didn't feel like that at all. It's because after the village area, it becomes really linear, and they don't hide that too well at all. The entire realm of fire was 4 screens. The one of water is slightly longer. In the one of earth, you spend a lot of time inside a barrow, and you see only 2 outside locations. Only the one of air feels a little bit more fleshed out. There's a bunch of other places, but those are more spoilery, so I'll leave you to it if you ever wanna play this. Just keep in mind that you'll feel like this stuff is mostly underdeveloped. They start throwing some locations with roads that have weird explanations for why you can't go there. Certainly cut content. Rule of thumb, don't put roads in your game if you can't go there. It's a pity because there's a bunch of features that really would elevate this immensely if the material was of higher quality. There's a map system that shows what room you are in and what roads you can take and in what direction you're going. That's fantastic since every symbol on the map represents that place in a recognizable way. Remember that this is 1993, so it's not a feature that many computer games had, certainly not this detailed. Plus an undo button in case you die. A wait button since actions happen in a turn-based manner. It's a thing the majority of this first-person adventure did. Here it's more laid out for you, and since you have that button you will experiment wait, especially when the game will try to rush you. That does feel suspicious to you, doesn't it? Technically is also very good, even if presented in this window-in looking style. Many screens are animated, some even in great detail. You might even lack color if you play the game wrong. Jokes aside, I like the look of this effort and the presentation of it was pretty nifty. I mean, it fitted the whole game inside a game theme they are going on the whole time. One of the few things they managed to keep consistent. Also, with the old systems you're looking at, you might think they wait heavily on loading, but in reality everything takes little time to come about. So traveling around searching for stuff the few times it happens is not a chore. They've got even a few FMV scenes for some reason. They're not even terribly done, but they happen in important moments for our characters. It's one of the various methods they have to signal you've made great progress. And yet it feels like it could have been much bigger. The amount of screens you visit is staggering. Everything is just so easy and rushed after a little while that it diminishes the whole adventure. I seriously spent a good 4 hours in the first and second location alone, and then 7 in the other 7 remaining ones combined. That's too unbalanced. Certainly the best part of the game is the soundtrack, especially if listened through a Roland MT32 synth. Of course, that's what I've made you listen through during this review. I wouldn't remove that from you. And I am extremely impressed with this soundtrack. Beyond impressed, truly. It's a more than 40 pieces OST if you can believe it. It's so massive that it might happen that a single 2 minutes composition is dedicated to a single screen. To tell you the truth, it happens so many times it might be close to half. I never seen such a massive production melody-wise, considering how much text and how many screens are present especially. Knowing that this game had a floppy version makes me wonder in how many of them it was distributed, but information on that is sparse. And it's a strange one, but I loved it. It has a bit of fantasy feeling, but it slips into soap opera. I was trying to figure it out when I played it, but only now I got to what I was feeling. But somehow that wasn't bad. The dialogue is so on the nose about the erotic emotions and all that jazz that it feels appropriate for it to be all Emmy about it. I like most of it really, and certainly appreciate when it suddenly becomes more frantic than you'd expect. It easily informs you of the screens where you can die the most. Quite the variety of genres, and that's a good sign. Imagine 40 melodies all done in the same style. That would be terrible. So what to think of this game? All in all, it's just a poor effort really. I can consider Companions of Xanth just a 6 out of 10. The game feels like it shrinks in scope the more you move forward. It gives you a choice of who will accompany you, but it's all fake. The puzzles are not all puns like the intro tells you, it will be leaving you confused on how to approach things. It's the very definition of a decent title. Lots of goodwill, but it clearly suffers from legend passing by from their previous interactive fiction titles to an actual point and click, while still producing a smart adventure game and a sequel to another text-heavy entry the same year. They clearly stretch themselves thin. If you wanna see me play the games that I will review plus some extra stuff, catch me on Twitch at Araknie Retro. It's my natural habitat, you see. Until next time, ciao ciao!